10 Stoic laws that will force your mind to be disciplined. Feel that buzz in your pocket. That tiny vibration is actually a leash tugging you away from the person you want to become. On average, we reach for our phones 150 times a day. That's 150 chances to surrender discipline and trade focus for distraction. The Stoics saw this weakness 2,000 years ago, and they left us not just advice, but laws, 10 unbreakable principles that forge discipline like iron. These aren't quick hacks or motivational slogans. They are rules of life. Break them, and your mind stays soft. Keep them, and it tempers like steel. Stick with me for the next 20 minutes, and you'll walk away with 10 Stoic laws that will force your mind to become disciplined laws you can start practicing before your coffee even cools. Let's begin with the first law, the foundation of everything else, focusing only on what you can control. Law 1. Focus on what you can control. Epictetus had no patience for wasted energy. He said, "There is only one way to happiness. Stop worrying about what you can't steer." Picture this. The train's late, your inbox is exploding, and a friend just left you on red. In that instant, you're standing at a fork in the road. One path is ranting, losing your cool, burning fuel. The other path is responding with discipline. Here's the filter. Ask yourself, is this inside my fence? If yes, pour your effort into it fully. If not, let it go. Shrugging off the uncontrollable isn't weakness, it's strength. Every time you refuse to wrestle with what isn't yours, you drop a coin in a jar labeled energy reclaimed, and jars fill up faster than you think. This law doesn't make life easier, it makes you sharper. And when you've built this habit of control, you're ready for the second law, taking full responsibility for your emotions. Law 2. Practice emotional responsibility. Stimulus, pause, response. That tiny pause is the difference between a life ruled by impulse and a life ruled by discipline. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each night, "You own your mind, not the weather." You can't stop anger or frustration from showing up at your door, but you can decide whether to invite them in for dinner. Here's the drill. When anger pops up, name it out loud. Say, anger. It's like switching on a light in a dark room. The monster shrinks instantly. Then ask, who do I want to be in the next 5 minutes? That one question lets you choose your script instead of letting the emotion write it for you. You're not stuffing feelings down, you're reclaiming authorship. And once you master this pause, you'll discover the third law, how to anchor your mind in the only place life actually happens, the present moment. Law 3. Master the present moment. Yesterday's replay and tomorrow's preview both drain the only currency you can't print more of right now. The Stoics trained themselves to shrink the timeline of their attention. Why? Because all strength, all choice, all action lives only in the present. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. Start simple. When you wash dishes, actually feel the warm water. When you walk, count your steps up to 10, then start again. When you eat, taste your food instead of scrolling through headlines. Think of your mind like a restless puppy. Left alone, it chews the couch rumination, worry, distraction. Give it a job, and it calms down. Presence is that job. And once you've trained your focus to stay here, you're ready for the fourth law, transforming obstacles from walls into stepping stones. Law 4. Turn barriers into breakthroughs. Marcus Aurelius left us one of the most powerful reminders. The obstacle becomes the way. Think about it. Every frustration, every setback is tuition. Missed a promotion? Ask, what is this forcing me to learn? Flat tire on the way to work. That's a free rehearsal for patience. Even rejection carries a hidden workshop on resilience. Here's the secret. If you skip the lesson, The problem doesn't vanish, it repeats with interest. But if you embrace the barrier as a teacher, you walk away stronger, sharper, harder to break. Discipline isn't built in easy moments, it's built exactly where you want to quit. So the next time life slams a door, don't just curse it. Step back and ask, what doorway just opened? And when you get good at finding breakthroughs in barriers, you're ready for the fifth law, choosing hardship on purpose before it chooses you. Law 5. Choose hardship on purpose. Seneca used to sleep on the floor once a month, even though he had fine sheets waiting for him. Why? To remind himself that comfort is a convincing liar. If you always choose the soft path, the smallest bump feels unbearable. But if you train with hardship, your mind becomes anti-fragile. It grows stronger from strain. Start small. End your shower with 30 seconds of cold water. Skip the cream in your coffee. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. These micro-choices are like vaccinations. Each one whispers, "I can handle more than I think." And over time, that whisper becomes unshakable confidence. When you choose discomfort on purpose, life's surprises stop feeling like ambushes. They feel like workouts you've already trained for. And when you've built that resilience, you're ready for the sixth law, the reminder that sharpens every day, reflecting on your own mortality. Law 6. Reflect on mortality. 2 million people woke up yesterday and never saw this morning. That's not morbid, it's a sharpening stone. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering death not to depress themselves, but to focus. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Here's the drill. Keep a small reminder where you'll see it often. Maybe a note on your lock screen. You could leave life right now. Every glance dissolves petty complaints like mist under a blowtorch. Suddenly, the traffic jam, the awkward email, the trivial insult, they shrink. What rises instead are the things that actually matter: love, service, integrity, presence. Mortality isn't a curse, it's a compass. It strips away the fog and points you back to what's essential. And once you've faced death in your mind, you're ready for the seventh law, imagining loss before it happens, so real storms never catch you unprepared. Law 7. Power through imagined loss. 0. 5. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. In plain terms, rehearse the worst before it arrives. Tonight, take 60 seconds. Close your eyes and play the movie. You lose the job, the account balance drains, your health takes a hit. Feel it, then exhale and open your eyes. What happens next is remarkable. 2 gifts appear. First, gratitude, you realize how much you still have right now. Second, a map, you've already walked through the storm in your mind, so when the real clouds gather, you don't panic. You respond with calm. Most people let imagined fears paralyze them. The Stoic flips it, using imagination as armor. By facing loss before it comes, you build the kind of discipline that no surprise can shatter. And once you've practiced standing steady in loss, you're ready for the 8th law, becoming the person your goals demand before the finish line ever appears. Law 8. Become the person your goal demands. Identity eats behavior for breakfast. If you keep saying, "I'm trying to write a book," you'll keep trying. But if you say, "I'm a writer," your actions shift to match. The Stoics understood that discipline flows from who you decide to be. Marcus Aurelius didn't write, "I'm trying to lead Rome." He wrote, "I must live as the man philosophy demands." His identity drove his discipline. So instead of saying, "I'm trying to get fit," say, "I'm an athlete." Instead of, "I'm trying to save money," say, "I'm a disciplined steward." Every small choice, waking up early, Skipping late-night TV, logging one more rep, is a vote for the identity you're building. Stack enough votes, and the goal stops being a struggle. It becomes inevitable because the person you've become would never quit. And once you shift identity, you're ready for the ninth law. Building processes so strong that results take care of themselves. Law 9. Build the process, not just the prize. Goals are lottery tickets you hope they hit. Systems are factories you build them daily, and they keep producing. The Stoics didn't chase prizes. They built practices. Want to meditate? Don't set a lofty goal of 30 minutes a day. Start with one breath. 1. The streak becomes the engine, and the engine carries you further than willpower ever could. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Systems are that preparation. They don't rely on moods or motivation. They run quietly in the background until results pile up. So ask yourself, what tiny action, done daily, guarantees progress? Reading one page, writing one paragraph, saving $1. Stack those small wins, and discipline stops being a fight. It becomes a rhythm. And once you're moving with that rhythm, you're ready for the final law, the one that anchors all discipline in something bigger than results, the pursuit of virtue. Law 10. Virtue is the real victory. At the end of all Stoic practice, one truth remains: virtue is the only prize worth chasing. The Stoics distilled it into 4 pillars: wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. Everything else, likes, applause, titles, is just fog that vanishes in the wind. Marcus Aurelius asked himself each night, "Did I act with virtue today?" If the answer was yes, then the day was won, no matter how the scoreboard looked. Discipline rooted in virtue is unshakable. Money can vanish, status can collapse, even health can falter, but no one can take away your integrity, your courage, your commitment to what is right. That's discipline at its strongest, discipline that survives rejection, recession, even death. So tonight, ask yourself, did I move closer to wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? If yes, you're on the path the Stoics walked, the path that tempers the soul like steel. And with that foundation in place, it's time for your challenge, the step that turns ideas into action. Closing challenge. 10 laws, 10 anchors for a disciplined mind. But here's the catch: reading them changes nothing. Living them changes everything. So here's your challenge. Pick just one law, not all 10. 1. Put it to work before the sun goes down today. Maybe it's Law 1, filtering what's in your control. Maybe it's Law 5, choosing hardship on purpose. Maybe it's Law 9, building a process so small you can't miss. Comment which law you chose and the tiny action you took. That act of declaring it will double your chance of sticking with it. Remember, the path doesn't start tomorrow. It starts the moment you close this video. The Stoics lived like their choices echoed through eternity. Now it's your turn. Unsubscribe from weakness, subscribe to strength, and start stacking disciplined days, one law, one action, one sunrise at a time.